Hey everyone, this is Charlie the Plug, your host of the Detroit Metro Plug podcast, powered by Empower You Ventures. Don't forget to subscribe so you too can be a part of the biggest empowerment network on YouTube and Facebook. We bring you weekly interviews of Detroit difference makers in the area of entrepreneurship, community involvement, also reaction to business news and community news. This does not happen without your support. Thank you. All right. Welcome to episode 129 of the Detroit Metro Plug podcast. I'm Charles McKay, your host, aka Charlie the Plug. And yes, we are at episode 129 of the podcast. Happy Monday to everyone. Hopefully everybody's doing well. I'm coming to you live in my home studio in Detroit Midtown. So we are in the midst of fall. We've changed the clocks. We say fall back during the fall time and spring forward in the spring. So we did get an extra hour of sleep, but it's dark right at about 5:30. 5:30 is dark. We got that wind chill. I don't know if you can hear the wind going against my window here in my studio. So people, we've gotten through Halloween and the election. So I don't know who your candidate was, but hey, God is still in charge. We're going to put our trust in him. So no matter what's going to happen. And we'll talk about our guest who's on our topic on unlocking our financial freedom and just how this new administration could affect some of your financial goals. But welcome again. I got to give an air horn for episode 129. Thank you for those who are joining us live over on our Facebook page at the Detroit Metro Plug podcast, and those who are watching us on LinkedIn on my page, Charles McKay, on the LinkedIn page, as well as YouTube, and those who will watch the replay. If you're finding value in what we're doing, please like, subscribe, share with your friends, positive content on what's going on here in the city of Detroit. And so I'm excited about our topic today, unlocking financial freedom. If you have financial goals, things that you desire in 2024, maybe you missed your mark. Here's a chance to learn some tips so that you can get prepared into the new year of 2025 and some of the things you need to know about. And our community in particular, we need to be abreast on financial literacy. So we're going to talk about top tips of unlocking your financial freedom with our very special guests. So I want to do a formal introduction of our next guest. Before I do that, I want to share a slide. Let me pull this up here. It kind of talks about our topic today. And this was straight from ChatGPT. Now, I use ChatGPT AI. If you're not getting comfortable with that, get your life together. Sign up, get an account. I use it all the time. It helps me with my thumbnail titles, and it's like a thought partner. I bounce ideas out of. So get comfortable with this technology. So I asked ChatGPT, give me the latest statistics on the wealth gap between blacks and whites in America. And if you can see this slide here, I'm trying to make it a little bit bigger. There you go. These are the statistics. Medium white income households are nearly 10 times more than the median income of black household. I put this slide up because most of my our audience are from the black community here in Detroit. And I just want to show just the comparison. Medium wealth comparison, white households, the medium income, $188,200 compared to black households, $24,000. That is a big gap. So you definitely need to be listening to what we're talking about today. Home ownership disparities, white home ownership, 72%, black home ownership, 43%. Education inequality, black households have higher student debt relative to income. Median income of white families, $78,000. Median income of black families, $45,000. Also, generational wealth. Few black families inherit wealth. There's not a transfer of generational wealth. So we got some work to do, and I hope our guests can talk a bit about that. Oh, and those who are watching us live, if you have a comment or a question, please put it in the chat so I'll make sure we try to recognize you. All right. So let me share this little video of our next guest, and I'm going to do a formal introduction. So here's a quick video, learn a little bit more about her.
I grew up in Detroit in a community affectionately known as Fountain Court. Growing up was just so wonderful that, I really didn't realize how much we didn't have when it came to finances until I got maybe to high school, especially at Cass, because we had some of the most prominent folks in town. Their children went there. And so that's when I finally realized that there are the haves and the have-nots. They say cash rules everything around us, but that mindset is what keeps us behind, trapped in a cycle of living check to check, where money controls us. But it's time to flip the script. If you want to rule your finances, you gotta start thinking kingdom.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me add her to the screen here.
Hello.
Hello. I'm going to do a formal introduction. So, on our topic, unlock financial freedom, our next guest is a seasoned wealth advisor, serial entrepreneur, dynamic preacher, thought leader, and successful business owner. It is her passion for her financial know-how and her desire to share that knowledge that attracted her to the financial industry, where she has been a driving force for more than 20 years. Our next guest, to advance her goals, our next guest joined AXA Advisors as a Series 7 licensed registered representative in 2001. She also holds a bachelor's degree in communication and public relations from Wayne State University. Shout out, Wayne State, I'm an alumni. And completed her graduate studies in finance at the American College. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 129, none other than Erica Hall.
Wow, great introduction. Thanks, Charlie the Plug. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Where does this podcast find you tonight?
Listen, I am coming from the city of Southfield. I'm in my office.
Your office.
That home office, like you.
Okay.
Home office. It's a studio.
Office studio. Yes.
Yes.
You're doing well. You're doing well.
Thank you.
Just so for our audience, so that they kind of get to know who you are, we're going to get into our topic on the tips of unlocking financial freedom. We're going to cover various things here. If somebody was to ask you, who is Erica Hall, what would you tell them?
I tell them, because I've been through this exercise and I'm going to pass the test. I am a visionary. I found out that you don't define yourself by the roles that you play, but based on what you have to share with others. And I have a light, and I want to allow people to light their candle in my knowledge and wisdom. So I am a financial advisor. I'm a mom. I am a preacher. I am an influencer. I try to share everything that God has gifted me with. I have this desire to know all about how the market works and how it affects our pockets, right? There's Wall Street, there's Main Street, and then there's our street. And I want to know how that affects what we do, because one of the things that we experience with this election is that there was an exposure of the actual economy, right? Wall Street economy that's been doing great.
been doing great this entire most of this administration, this current administration. The market has been rewarding us, but when it comes to what we're feeling on the other side, on our street, it may not have been so great. But when we look at the facts and the figures, they're moving us in the direction that we need to know how to participate in that. And that's why I say, if we want to rule our finances, we got to start thinking bigger than where we start. So Charlie, I just want to just thank you for inviting me onto your show, and I've watched you, and I've always wanted to actually come on your show. Did you know that? I don't think you knew that.
No, I did not know that. I'm glad you're here, and I hope that
Yeah.
we do continue collaboration. I think what you have to offer to our audience and to our community is great knowledge and experience to help
Yeah.
us to bridge that wealth gap that I shared in that slide in leading up to your introduction.
Yeah. What number you said this is for you?
This is episode 129. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Oh,
Okay.
yes. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Appreciate
Yes.
that.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So I read a formal introduction about your experience, 20 years
Hmm.
more in the financial industry.
Yeah.
You kind of told us a little about you, that you're a preacher, you're a mom,
Yeah.
uh, you are an astute financial advisor. I want to kind of give some background. In the video we show, of course, you went to Cass Tech. Shout out to Cass Tech. A lot of Cass Tech people very proud of their school.
Yeah.
Here's your journey. How did you become interested in finances, financial wealth? Was it someone in your family that was an entrepreneur? Was there somebody who ran the numbers in the street? I mean, is there something that you did that you were exposed to that made you interest in money or the financial side of money?
I was broke.
You was broke. Okay. That would help out.
And I'm trying to figure out why.
Okay. Now, when you say
So
broke, like, was people don't know. I look better than, I don't look like what I've been through. So I grew up where you actually had physical food stamps, like the actual stamps in the booklet. You had
oh
to tear
yeah,
them
come
out
on.
and my
Goodfellas,
parents,
all that. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
yeah. I don't
talking
know if you, I
about
don't know if you was about that life. We had the stamps, and my
about that.
parents would send me to the store to bust the stamps to get change so that they can get cigarettes.
Right. I mean, I
Yeah,
was telling the truth when I said I didn't really realize how much
right.
we didn't have until I got around some people who had
You had
mo-
okay,
had more than what we had, and
right,
what they were able to do. I think the first time I think I was in the 10th grade, and I
mhm.
was sitting in biology class, and somebody's parent pulled up outside with a
Oh,
new car with a bow on it, right? One of my
well,
classmates.
bro, it was like a gift for one of your
Yeah,
classmates,
it was a gift, but that's how they rolled. That's how
or
they
like a
rolled.
birthday gift or something, or
That
just
yeah,
just
that
because.
was the
Okay,
gift, and that was like, wow,
and you was in
the
10th
new
grade,
car.
about
My parents would
15.
barely let. I was in the 10th grade. I think I got my driver's license.
Oh, okay.
My parents they wouldn't let me drive their only car.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
How
bring
would
me
you get
one
back? How was you getting back and forth? Would you on a? We call it
on
the
the
Iron Pimp.
DOT, huh?
We called it the Iron Pimp, the bus. We call it Iron Pimp because it controls your life. If you miss that bus,
Right.
you have to wait.
Yeah. There
For the
was a
next.
bus stop right in front of my neighborhood. I
Okay.
grew up in Fountain Court. And
Okay.
right on Martin Luther King, there was a bus stop right there. That's where I spent most of my days. Riding the Tireman bus, and then you
Okay.
transfer to the Grand
Oh, you
River
got to get
and
that
Grand River.
transfer.
You gotta
Okay.
transfer. Yeah, so my background is the experience of being broke, and not so much just not having um so by the time I have this desire to get into the financial services, I am an adult, and
Okay.
I have a degree, and I am now being I'm working in a corporate environment, in an office where they're all talking about 401ks, and I go to the 401k meeting. Fidelity puts on this meeting, and they're talking about their blue chips, and the
Blue
high
chip.
yields, and the this and the that. And
You're
I
like,
have
what's a
never
blue
ever
chip?
ever never never ever heard
Right.
of a blue chip.
A
And so
blue
I'm
chip.
trying to
Like, is that a
yeah,
new Dorito flavor or something? What are you talking about?
listen,
Blue
though,
chip.
that was the different flavored Doritos wasn't out back then. I'm telling my age, but I'm just saying it that what sparked what lit in me was, how come I don't know about this?
How come you don't know about this?
Has this been intentionally kept from me?
Did your parents say anything about finance? What to do? How to balance a checkbook? Put money in an oatmeal jar or something?
No, my parents gave me what they had, right? And
Right.
it was money don't grow on trees,
Okay.
right? And turn those lights out, and
Like,
you
okay, yeah,
know,
that sounds familiar.
and go to school.
Okay.
They
Stay out
put
of
me
trouble.
in the music program.
Mhm.
They made sure I got into a very good school, and
Okay.
the music program was to get me a scholarship to college. This was going to help me pay for college, and to get a good education so that I can have a successful career in whatever field I wanted to go into. And so my parents were very
Mhm.
they may not have had a whole lot of financial literacy,
Right.
but it's so interesting because my father was all about being an entrepreneur,
Okay. What
right?
kind
Being
of
an
business
entrepreneur.
did he have?
Yeah, he was like be an entrepreneur. He was really just getting started in finding out how you can work for yourself,
Okay.
and how you don't have to. I think the biggest draw for that was that you didn't have to pay the taxes off the top. You could pay your taxes later. You keep your
Right.
bring
Right.
all your money home. And so he was like, you want to be an entrepreneur. That's what you want to do. You want to be an
Right.
entrepreneur.
Right.
And so that settled that very early for me. So those were some of the things, those qualities and those values are what my parents instilled in me.
They instilled you good moral values, but
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
financial literacy came more that desire when you started working in the field.
The financial literacy came. So I once I started becoming familiar with investing and stocks and bonds and all this stuff, I went home and I asked my parents, I asked my mom, I was like, so yeah, what's all this? And she said, well, you know what? There's a financial advisor that comes to my office. My mother worked at the DMC at the time. And she
Okay.
said, there's a financial advisor, and she's a lady. As a matter of fact, she's a black woman. I think you should
Okay.
meet her,
Okay.
because I had been talking about it so much. My mother
Right.
got into her retirement plan on the job, and she
Yeah.
said, you should meet her. And I end up having lunch with Miss Mary Wells. She took me
Very
to
well.
the
Okay.
Beverly Hills Grill,
Okay.
out here in Beverly Hills, Michigan, right out here
Right.
outside of
Right.
Southfield.
West side. Yeah.
And listen, she said, if this is what you want to do,
Mhm.
fast forward, she said, this is what you want to do, I can introduce you to some people. And next thing I know, I got hired at AXA Advisors.
Okay. So, I said AX. Well, I didn't pronounce it right. What is it?
No,
Accent?
AXA, it's all
Accent.
good. It's all good.
So
Yeah.
tell us more about this company. Is it like Fidelity? I know the big company like Prudential and
Yeah,
Charles.
AXA was pretty. I'm not sure the size of it right now, but it was one of the top companies because I think they started clearing,
Right.
they're clearing their own trades. So you have to be a pretty
Okay.
large fiduciary or back office operation to
Right.
be able to do that. One of the largest ones is Pershing, and so I think they were getting right up there. But yeah, AXA Advisors is it was a financial planning company that also the parent company, or where it started years ago, was Equivest, or
Okay.
Equitable life insurance. Yeah, Equitable life insurance. Then when they ventured off into investing, they started AXA Advisors. And so once you become a licensed registered rep, you are a representative of the company. You get your Series 7, got my life insurance license. They get you all licensed and equipped and everything, and now you have a license to buy, trade, sell securities, as well as do financial planning with your Series 66. And so that was my introduction to the financial services industry, and that was in
Wow.
early 2000s. Yeah.
Early 2000s. Oh, that deserves some air horn.
Thank you.
Now, we got a lot to unpack because
Okay. Yes.
we're in 2024. You
Wow.
joined Asset Advisors around 2020, 2001, somewhere around
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
You got these special licenses. Now I know I'm familiar with them, but my audience may not be.
Yeah,
What
you were asking me
exactly?
about that. Like, who
What is
wants to
a
know?
Series 6, Series 7? I mean, people may think, is that something that's on Netflix series? What series is this? I know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but just to explain what is these licensings, and why does someone need to have them to conduct to be a wealth advisor or to provide financial services?
Yeah, well, these are the credentials and exams that you would need to take in order to be licensed. And so there are different series for different levels of regulatory operation in the financial services industry. So, in layman's terms, it means like Series 6. You can just off the top, you can buy and trade mutual funds.
Okay.
And Series 7, now you have a license where you can do actual securities, not packaged securities like mutual funds, but you could buy and trade stocks and bonds and options, and you could do a little more sophisticated types of transactions with that license.
And on
And
behalf of your clients, right? So we can call you like, yo, Erica, I'm going to get this Invictus stock, or I want to
on
buy.
behalf of your clients. However, there is as I'll talk about the transition to becoming an independent advisor. When I was with AXA Advisors, I worked for that company. I was a registered representative of
That
AXA Advisors, so I didn't necessarily work. I worked on behalf of the customers and clients of AXA Advisors.
right. Gotcha.
Right. And so we in the industry, we call that you are a captured agent.
Yeah, you're
And
a
so
captured.
you're a captured agent with that Series 7. And so that's one of the things that's important, because that's like kind of my story. Like I have decided, once I discovered that you can move to the independent side, then I was like, oh, this is where it's at. Now I get to truly sit on the same side of the table with my clients and go out and find the products that best suit their needs. And it's not tied to my commission, because I'm not a commission-based advisor. I am a fee-based advisor. And that means that I have a truly vested interest in the client doing well. Right.
Now, we're going to get into the tips for unlocking financial freedom, but this backstory is so interesting. You started at a time, early 2000s. I don't think, particularly in our community, we was really abreast on financial literacy. Who were your clients when you were with AXA? Were they black, white, mixture, or they use you to target people to get started 401k? I mean, back then people had pensions and stuff like that.
Right. That was before it was right on the cusp of the Pension Protection Act, which actually protected the companies from having to provide pensions. People were still getting pensions. Who were my clients? Well, I was pretty connected because I came out of the communications industry, so I had a Rolodex. I had a database of some connections. And actually, my first client, he and his wife were actually they were executives for the hospital system. And so I just thought that the Lord was smiling on me when he gave me favor with this husband and wife team, and they were my biggest client. And then I just word of mouth, and then I would do the thing, the thing that make you do when you're in sales. You got to make 100 calls a day to get so many appointments scheduled to get what they call the kitchen table. You got to go sit at people's kitchen table and get that appointment. So I was doing cold calls. Oh, I hated that. I was doing cold calls, and man, it was it was a grind to teach people about financial literacy and finances.
Wow. Awesome. So now you got that experience, and I'm not sure how long you were with AXA Advisors, but what was the transition to starting your, what I read in the intro, which is probably your initial, right? Erica Hall.
Erica Hall, EH. Yeah, because I couldn't think of anything else, and I had to quickly come up with something because the name wasn't important. I had a client base that I needed to work with. So, EH Wealth Advisors came via LPL. So after I left AXA, I ended up going to a small firm, and it was a quick little funny story. I was in the credit union.
Yeah.
And Holy Spirit said to me, Go walk in that office and tell them that you want to be. I wanted to be in a credit union where people walk in
Right, right.
and need, I don't have to call
Cold,
nobody. Look,
yeah,
right, I have to
calling.
call, they calling on me. And so I poked my head in the office, and there was a guy sitting at the desk, and I said, yeah, I'm looking, how do I get to sit at that desk? And he
Mm-hmm.
looked out the door like, who sent you over here? And he was just so shocked, because he was like, I was looking for somebody to come in, and I want to go open up another office at another credit union, and I need someone to man this office. So where do I need to start with you? I was like, I'm already licensed, I'm already
Right.
trained. It was a great connection. Turns out later he ended up he was with a company where we ended up with LPL Financial, which is a much larger broker dealer. And I ended up leaving him and going to a family office where I met this lady. Now this was a defining moment in my life. Now
Right.
I'm selling products because I know how to sell products, but I didn't really know how to do financial planning.
Right.
And so I met this lady in the airport on my way to an advisor conference in San Diego. We were in San Diego in the airport, and she says to me, "Darling, aren't you tired of waking up unemployed every morning?" And I've been
Mm-hmm.
working in the financial industry for like 3, 4, 5 years, when I met her. And she was like, I said, what do you mean? She said, well, you're pushing products. And after you sell a product, you make the commission, and then you're unemployed. You got to go find someone else to sell a
Right.
product to.
Yeah.
She said, what if I can show you how to build a practice that will provide you residual income for the rest of your life?
Mm-hmm.
As long as you want to be in the business. I said, oh, I'm listening. I'm
I'm
listening.
listening.
And so
Okay.
she talked to me the entire conference for like a week. She said, when we get back, I want you to come to my office. And the rest is history. She hired me as a junior advisor in her office, which morphed into a family office. A
Mm-hmm.
few years later, she taught me how to do financial planning for people. That is a comprehensive look at their entire financial picture based on where they are today and
Right.
based on where they want to go, and how to bring the specific products to the table that would help them meet their goals. So it's not about the hottest and the latest thing. It's about building strategies, about building investment portfolios. So I can do the financial planning
Mm-hmm.
and I could do the investment management, all for that kind of practice.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So I ended up with her about 7 years. And then in 2010, I went out on my own.
Mm-hmm.
She and we had this, I didn't have a non-compete. So she set up the relationship that when I left, whatever business I created while I was there, I could take that with me.
That is awesome. That is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into our specific tips. So people are going to be watching. They're going to want to know. We definitely gave a backstory how you came into this industry. Definitely
All
have
right.
tons of experience.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the keys and the tips for our audience to unlock financial freedom? Where do they begin? Where do they start?
They start with principles.
Okay.
They start with some basic principles, because that's how principles are what the market and investing, those strategies, they're based on. They're
Mhm.
based on um, when we develop an investment portfolio, we're developing it based on a theory, which is a principle, on how markets work and how they flow based on cycles. And we have to take that same type of approach and make it our strategy or our approach when it comes to our finances. It's not as much as knowing what the theory and the model is, but how do we implement that in our own personal lives? And it's basic principles such as being, saving, having some percentages when it comes to how much you're saving, where you're saving, budgeting, making sure you have a strategy, managing your cash flow. Those are some basic principles. 10% here, 20% there, and living off of less than you earn. And that is, that's a great principle. That's a great place to start today.
Principles.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, particularly in our community, and I'm guilty of this as well. People live paycheck to paycheck. there's statistics say that a $400 emergency, some people don't even have that saved up. $400 emergency. So speak to those who are, they just satisfied with a job and a down payment, living paycheck to paycheck, consuming. If they're short on their consumption, they're using credit cards or payday loans, whatever it may be. How do you get people to transition to adopt some of those principles you just shared about?
Well, one of the ways that we do that is we have to build a foundation.
Okay.
And so it's about starting off with some of the basic things that you should be doing. And my best audience, I love to talk to them all the time, is my young folks, my young adults who are just getting, they're getting started or getting used to where they can now have a steady income, opening up bank accounts that has a direct deposit consistently going in. I'm not talking about, the jobs that you worked when you were in your, in college, or you were just building and trying to figure out where you go. I'm talking about now that you're in your career. Now that you are in a place where you are, you have an established income, you have benefits, you can open up a 401k and you can start making deposits in there. You're working towards some goals. You're in a corporate environment where you're now sitting beside people who have assets, and the conversations that happen in those environments help to build your vision for where you want to go, right? It builds this vision of a dream of owning a home, or you want to buy a vehicle, whatever it may be. You are now in a place where you can set up that foundation. And so when we start with that cash flow management, we're talking about budgeting. And although we say living paycheck to paycheck, sometimes that experience of living paycheck to paycheck is scary when you don't have an emergency fund, when you don't have a credit card with at least $2,000 to $3,000 available on it for emergencies, or you don't have an investment account that has $10,000 sitting in it that is available for you for future some goals you have or the next 3 to 5 years. It's scary when you don't have a 401k and that saving for the future. And so living paycheck to paycheck, it's actually part of your cash flow management, because if you have a budget and a strategy, you actually are going from pay period to pay period. And so, but we want to show you how to do that with some safety nets built up. And if you are in a place where you're earning income and you find that you do have some extra left over, then we can definitely develop a strategy right from there. But if you find that you don't have any extra left over, then that's when we have to look at whether or not some sacrifices or some cancellations of subscription services, or going without a few things that are considered discretionary. Discretionary type of things that can help you. Or even if you have to pick up an additional stream of gig income in order to add that to your to what you're bringing in, so that you can put yourself in a position where you can have a budget, where you can have, and there are different ways that you can budget. You can do an 80-20 or the 70-30. You can do the what we call the envelope method. One of my favorites is the zero-based budget.
Okay, zero-based budget. I'm writing that down. What's that?
The zero-based budget is when you give every single dollar an assignment.
An assignment. Okay.
Yeah. And that kind of feels like living check to check. But here in this strategy, in this method, You are accounting for what you have to pay for towards your credit cards. You have a savings account that you're putting money in for emergencies, and then you're putting funds away for your annual tax bill or your annual insurance bill. You're putting funds away for everything that you've forecasted for the whole year and know what your budget is going to require, and so you set up receptacles, vehicles, in order to receive those dollars. You put them aside when you get paid, and so you only got this much to play around with. You do give yourself some play around money, because all work and no play is no fun. It makes for a dull life. But if it's that time where you got to make that sacrifice, then you don't want it to be too long. But a zero-based budget is every dollar is allocated and sent somewhere so that it's doing what it needs to do, and you're not you set yourself up so that you don't bust your budget.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, you said a lot. I want to unpack this. So some of the tips and the jewels you just dropped. So we start from someone's living paycheck to paycheck. You start with knowing what's coming in, which basically having a budget. And then I like what you said. There's different strategies there. So you can assign every dollar to specific areas like housing expenses or transportation or entertainment or food or play money. And then also you said about the different strategies on the percentage, like you said, the 20-80, you live off 80%, 20% goes to savings, 10%
or tithing if you're a tither. Yep. And then you save
charity or church. So you have different strategy. Can you clarify for our audience, because everybody has different ways of viewing it or understanding, what exactly is financial freedom in your opinion?
Financial freedom is it's the ability to do exactly what I just described, and you don't have that stress, right? You know that you're working towards a goal that you have set, whether that goal is purchasing a home, whether that goal is sending your children to college, whether that goal is retirement at a certain when you reach a certain age, or whatever, however you define that. Financial freedom is meaning that it means that you have developed an approach, a philosophy. You have these principles that guide how you manage your finances, right?
Okay.
It doesn't mean that you never take out a loan. It doesn't mean that you never have to get a mortgage or finance a large purchase. It doesn't mean that you get everything that you want today. It means that you learn certain principles, or you learn the principles that are going to guide the way you manage funds. So one of the things that I talk about in that video is if you want to rule your finances, you must think kingdom. And what I'm talking about is the kingdom of God, because a lot of the principles that we need to learn and to help guide our character, how we approach finances, they're right there in the Word of God. What you just said about knowing what you have coming in, there's a proverb that says you should know the state of your flock.
Okay.
You should know everything you have as a resource, not only just what you have coming in, but you should know the value of your home, of your asset, of your car, of your vehicle. You should know how much you have in your accounts at all times. You should look at that as a regular state of your flock, as a regular part of what you do. There should be a periodic time that you set aside based on how you get paid. If it's biweekly or if it's monthly, there should be a time that you implement into your life where you're looking at the state of your finances, at least monthly. At least monthly.
Now, I'm curious because you said a few things, you touched on a few things there. So we definitely start with budgeting. Based on what's out there in the news, according to news reports, people have unknowingly or on purpose, or just because they were caught in a crunch per se. They have debt, short-term debt with credit cards, student loan debt. And people may be in a situation where they have what you call a negative cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some financial gurus or experts, such as like Dave Ramsey, who he talks about starting out with baby steps, eliminating the debt, and maybe start out with an emergency account. Where do you sit on that? If somebody comes to you, they, went a little bit crazy was wilding with the credit cards, and they're trying to get their life in order, they're stressed out, in over their head. What would you advise them? What tips would you give them so that they can get on that path of financial freedom?
Yeah, he calls it baby steps, but I call it the building a foundation.
Okay.
And so, financial planning, in the typical approach is looking at short-term, midterm, long-term buckets, right? We break them into these buckets. And in that based on your age or based on where you are. Because I may say planning in your 20s, you want to avoid high credit card debt. You only borrow what you need for education, and pay attention to your credit cards. If you get a credit card, pay your bills on time, open a checking
You're not
account.
against credit cards. Some Christian financial planners discourage people getting any kind of debt.
I'm gonna come back to that. No, I don't. I'm not against credit cards, and I'm not against getting into any kind of debt, because we live in the United States. And so I am going to just start off to answer your first question is you have these rule of thumb. So like for that first short-term bucket, it's making sure that you are you're not spending more than what you bring in, of course, knowing where everything is, and
Right.
you are building an emergency fund with the rule of thumb. So the baby steps, I've seen Dave Ramsey's program, and even the Crown Financial Program, and it's all this similar approach where you are going to make sure that you have $1,000 as an emergency fund.
Right.
Once you reach that goal, then 3 to 6 months of living expenses, and then
Right.
once you reach that goal, maybe even up to a year's salary that
Wow.
you have saved up. But that may take a little time to
Right.
get there. But as an advisor, my job is to show you once you do have that $1,000, once you do have that 3 to 6 months of living expenses or $10,000, that should not just be sitting doing nothing in the
Not
bank.
in
We
the
want to
bank.
make sure that we put those dollars in the right types of vehicles,
Right.
so that they're working.
Right.
Every dollar is working on your behalf, and making sure that you're earning based on the current interest rate environment.
Right.
There are certain vehicles that are ideal right now,
Mhm.
in a low interest rate environment, and then there are certain investment vehicles that are ideal in a high interest rate environment. And so,
Right.
where you put the investment, in addition to you developing the principle of saving. The Bible says that the fool spends everything he gets, but a wise man saves for the future. And so, these principles, and so that's why I work on the person who is saying, I want to make a change. What
Mhm.
kind of change are you willing to make? It's your
Mhm.
character. It's your person. It's why why are you spending everything? I mean, I talk with people who make really good money,
Mhm.
but they don't have the advanced strategy for just having that foundation, right? They
Right.
may have a mortgage, they're paying their bills, they're good at managing what they bring in, but they're just not adding that midterm, long-term strategy and making sure that it's all working together. They may not know where the investments are supposed to go. And so it's building upon the foundation. Once you have steady income, you got that emergency fund, your credit cards are being paid on time, you have a nice credit card portfolio. One of the things that I teach my clients is, or in some of my my webinars, is you having no credit is almost almost as bad as having bad credit,
Right.
because your credit worthiness determines even they're even checking credit when you're looking for employment. It's determined for your auto insurance. It's a part of that determination. And so you want to make sure, what does a good credit portfolio look like. It's a mixture of revolving credit. It's a different types of loans that you have managed and paid on time, showing that you have good credit worthiness. Yeah.
We got a quick question. Thank you, said Melissa Compton. I want to make sure I hope I pronounce your name right. Does having a credit card or two allow you to establish a good credit score? It's a question.
Establish a credit score? Yes. Having a credit card or two allow you to establish a credit score? Yes, it does. It does. In fact, when you want to establish credit and you don't have any credit cards, or a credit card is one of the easiest and quickest ways that you can establish a credit score by doing some of the basic things. 30% of the score is, how much you have available, or how much you've used. Yeah. But another one is, paying on time, and your credit history, of course, is a big thing. And so you definitely want to get started early. Thank you, Millicent. Thank you so much for that question.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, wow, there's a lot of things we can go for the sake of time.
Yeah. I know you said go by fast.
No, I told you it goes by quick. You dropped a lot of jewels. So just you kind of work with people with the principles who are living paycheck to paycheck to get a budget, savings plan, saving short term, emergency fund.
Yeah. Those are, like you said, the baby steps, and
Right.
I don't want to, but I just wanted to point out why those are important, why he calls them the baby steps. I call them building foundation, because I get too many people that want to start at the top of the foundation without having the or they want to start at the top with just have the 401k, or something sophisticated, and then they have to bust it because they don't have the emergency fund.
Right, they need emergency fund.
They don't have the emergency fund. Yeah. So that kind of messes up the big time strategy.
So budget, emergency fund, then short term, long term savings in some type of investment vehicle.
And then risk exposure, insurance, to make sure that you're covering the risk if ever you have disability, short-term, long-term disability, life insurance for those untimely deaths, and making sure that you are you're covering all the different areas. I have a pyramid that I show that shows you the step, how you build upon that foundation. And I think I shared it with you. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Wow. So you shared a lot of tips and a lot of knowledge already.
Okay.
What we're going to do, we're going to go into how people can, who are watching this and who will watch the replay, how they can work specifically with you and the services you provide. So we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to show a little commercial. We're going to come right back, and then we're going to go right into
commercials. Yeah.
We're going to go right into how people can work directly with you and the services you provide. So we'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Detroit. Are you a Detroit area small business owner, entrepreneur, leader of a nonprofit organization, or a business service provider? And are you looking for ways to share your product, service, or your programs with a local Detroit audience? Let us help you increase your reach by becoming an ad sponsor with the Detroit Metro Plug podcast, powered by Empower You Ventures. Our weekly video podcast is a growing local feature on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn that focuses on local business and community news. This gives you a chance to connect with local Detroit customers or clients. We offer cost-effective ads to fit your needs. Click the link to learn more about our current ad specials. And remember, connections matter. This is Charlie the Plug with the Detroit Metro Plug podcast.
Black Leaders Detroit, they knew that during the pandemic, that Black businesses were going to be left out of any type of funding that the government gave, and they wanted to make sure that they were able to figure out how they could step up and help, because again, this is their community, and they want to make sure that their community is still here when this pandemic is over with. And the only way you can do that is by offering support to your community, and so they stepped up and they did that.
I've been telling everyone I know about Black Leaders Detroit. The things that they're doing is simply amazing. And they're taking care of business for the Black business owners.
It's $1 a week donation to keep this great thing moving. $1 a week keeps it popping. Black Leaders Detroit.
All right. Those who are interested in
All
supporting
right.
Black Leaders Detroit, just go to blackleadersdetroit.org. $1 a week helps us support local Black businesses who may be facing challenges. They also do grants and also no interest loans. So if you don't pay the interest on a loan for your business, that's money you can save to put in that emergency account. All right. We're talking about a lot of tips. You drop some bars, some jewels.
All right.
How people get started. So there's going to be people who are going to want to know how they can work directly with you in the services you provide. I do have a slide here. I think here it is. Okay. All right. So how can people work directly with you, and what are some of the services you provide?
Well, as you can see, retirement planning. So we are a full service financial advising firm. So everything from the financial planning to the actual management of and opening the investment accounts. We custody with Charles Schwab. And so we do all of the investment accounts, IRAs, annuities, life insurance. And most of the people that I work with are people who are looking to grow and go somewhere, right? They're not just looking to buy, I want to buy this stock. That's not me. I'm not looking for, a one-time purchase of an investment, because I would tell them the best place to go is a discount brokerage firm where you can get that stock for nearly nothing, and that's all they want to do. But what I am looking for is someone who is looking for an advisor that they're going to be with for till they retire. And I have most of my clients who have been with me. I have clients who've been with me since day one, since I started in this business. And those are the clients where we have been developing those strategies, putting them together, reviewing them every year, monitoring the investments. And as life happens, as life changes, we adjust things as we go. And what they find is the value of having a financial advisor is it's time for you to put a roof on. It's time for you, and you're trying to figure out, where should I pull the money? You're going to call your advisor and say, should I pull this money out of my 401k? Should I pull this money? And we'll say, we've been working together for some time. I'm going to say, no, we have this investment account right here that is not a retirement account, but the money is there for these large ticket items. It's not your emergency fund, but this investment account is here for those large ticket items, and that's where we pull it from. Or maybe it's a position where you got the equity in a real estate or your home, that the interest rate is much lower than what your portfolio is earning. Your portfolio is earning, really, especially if you're the retirement account, your portfolio is earning a lot more, 20, 30, 20% over that time frame. We may not want to touch that, because the interest rate on money, maybe borrowing money, might be cheap at the time. And so, no, I am not against taking out debt when it makes sense.
Okay. We got another question coming in. What is a good retirement account to open for an entrepreneur? Would that be a 401k?
It could be. Now, back in the day, we would say, no, you want to open up a simple or a SEP or something like that. It depends on how you're structured as a business. If you are an established business and you want to save more than 7,000 or 10,000, 11,000 in the smaller retirement accounts for small business, you now can open up a 401k. And now that we have the abilities to support them at Schwab or what have you, it wouldn't be they do have some administration that you have to consider. So if you're a single person and you don't have employees, they may make sense. But if you do have employees, then you may want to consider the type of retirement plan that you're offering, because there is administration cost that comes with it. And 401ks, those retirement plans require for you to offer the same benefit that you're offering for yourself. You have to offer it to your employees.
Okay. Great answer. Thank you for those questions.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So they can get in contact with you for your services there. You have a phone number, 248-440-7774.
Yeah.
And your website. I want to share my screen, kind of show people the website. So it's at www.ehwealthadvisors.com. Let me share the website here. And we can you can see this live. Okay, so all right, so that's the website. So when they go on the website and learn about what you do, what do you recommend them to start with? There's a little get started button here. Is that?
Well, I think you went to our website that is under.
Oh, this is an old website.
No, this is one that we're updating. This is one that's under construction. So, but what they can do is I think you had all of my social medias up, and you can schedule an appointment we are updating our website, and we're creating these links so that you'll be able to access your account, and you'll be able to book your appointment right through the site.
Oh, okay. Which website I was supposed to go to? I can go to that.
Which one did you go to?
It said 360. Is that the one that?
Oh, no. My website is ehwealthadvisors.com.
Okay, so let me make sure. I'm gonna pull that up. You said
I'm like,
give it to me again.
EH Wealth Advisors. It's right here. ehwealthadvisors.com on the screen. Yeah, the site you went to is we're building a funnel.
Oh.
And but I'm glad to know that it works.
Oh yeah. I didn't know it was live or not.
Yeah. So
okay, so I got that. Let me pull that, share my screen here and pull that one up. Here we go. This one. So this is the one, right?
Yeah, that's our.
All right, so we got the right one. All right, so
so you can go here, and for the sake of time, because see, we got one more question. So this is where we talk about our services and the difference between the planning, the investment services, and wealth management. You can give us a call, and then you can click the contact us at the top.
Okay. Contact us.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And this is where our office is located. You can send us a message on the site. You can even answer a question right here on the site, and we will, and we'll get back with you and schedule you for a consultation. So the initial consultation, we call it like a discovery, whatever. It's like 30 minutes, and it's a time that we can just sit and talk and see what it is what you need and what you're looking for, and see if it's a fit, if it's a good fit for us to work together.
Okay, so that's the website. They go to contact us. We got the website at here at www.ehwealthadvisors.com.
Yes.
Or they can call you, that phone number.
Yes.
And you're also on social media, Facebook, EH Wealth Advisors.
Yes, now here you're talking. Yeah, so you can at the Financial Lady. There's an Instagram, Erica Hall on LinkedIn, EH Wealth Advisors on Facebook. But the best thing is to call the office if you're looking to
Okay. All right. So they would start with a consultation. I think we have another question. Okay. We have another question from James. What triggers my time to retire?
Your time to retire is triggered by definitely you, because you define what retirement looks like for you. And so once you've qualitatively, right, what quality of life you want to have, what do you plan on doing? Because retirement is different for everyone. And so one of the things that I love to the conversation I love to have with those who are planning for retirement is retirement is not what your friend said or what your coworker said. It what does it look like for you? And some people may have different stages of retirement. You may have semi-retirement where you may not be working at the job that you've been at for 20 years or what have you. And maybe you're going to do something else to supplement your income until you reach a certain age where other things can kick in. So when we're doing retirement planning, we're looking at all the resources of income. For those who are entering retirement now, you may have worked at a job where you do still get a pension that will kick in at age 62 or 65. And those ages will trigger what type of income you'll have at that age, right? So what triggers your time to retire just depends on what your income need will be at that age. So if you, for example, want to retire at age 60 and you're able to pull a retirement from your previous employment, but it doesn't quite meet your living expenses. Let's say your living expenses is $4,000, but you'll get $2,000 from this company until age 62. Maybe for those 2 years, we'll have to pull $2,000 a month out of your IRA to supplement your income, right? Until Social Security would kick in at age 62, right? Something like that. And so what triggers your retirement, it depends on what the need is. And when we do a retirement plan, we actually factor all of that in, and we can show you a forecast of what income will look like at age 62, 63, 64, 65, based on all those resources all the way out. We plan all the way out to age 80, 85 or whatever, based on life expectancy, the average tables of life expectancy. And we can show you what that cash flow will look like. So if you looked out 10 years from now and you saw that, well, that's not, I see there's a shortfall, then that may tell us today that maybe we need to save a little more. Right? We save a little more and earn a little more so that we can make up for that shortfall. But what triggers retirement is definitely your age, and what retirement looks like for you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
As we kind of wrap things up.
It's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock.
Yeah. As we land the plane, a couple of questions as we close things out. Who would you say is your ideal client for your services?
Oh, good question. Because I kind of alluded to it earlier. Long-term relationship people.
Long-term relationship.
Yeah. With your advisor. With your advisor. Yeah, with your advisor, because it takes some time for us to realize and see the benefit of and realize those goals. They don't happen overnight, and it's implementing those strategies and monitoring them. So my ideal client is someone who has made it up in their mind that they want to improve their situation, their financial situation, and they're ready to work with an advisor, ready to sit down and go through, and we pull everything out. We pull it all out, because I tell them that your financial plan is as good as the information that you provide. So if you don't provide good information, then the plan's not going to work. And then we also have to have some accountability. And so that's why I consider it a long-term relationship, because there's a learning of us getting to know how I work with my clients, as well as what works for you. Well, how we have to customize it based on who you are in your life and your personal situation, because it's different for everyone. And so, but there's always a different strategy that we can implement to help you get there. And the rules change. The rules change when there's a like, we just came off the election. The market's going to do what it does based on this administration. Markets tend to have a certain affinity towards a Republican type of administration, and so that means the stock market may continue to do what it's done when there's an Republican administration in the office, because their policies are favorable for businesses that want to invest more in their business. However, we have to consider that this administration is now looking at some policies that might not benefit businesses, such as tariffs and those things that are going to cause more cost. And so we have to factor that into our strategy. And so that means that we're staying in touch, we're staying in communication with you, and making sure that your goal, if you said you weren't planning on retiring this year, you're planning on retiring 5 years from now, I want to make sure that we're still working based on that strategy, and things haven't changed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I like that.
Good.
Your ideal client is someone who's looking to change their situation, a long-term relationship, not no short-term. Hey, and
yeah, and they got some money. They got something to work with. I gotta have something to work with.
They're working somewhere. Got something to work with.
I gotta have something to work with. Now, I do have a program for people who are just getting started. My young folks who are just getting started. I do have a subscription program that's called My Advisor. My Advisor is for those people who are just getting started with budgeting, just getting started with with investing, and they want to get more financial literacy. I do have a subscription program for them, and it's a little different than the fee-based program, where I'm managing the investment portfolio.
That's good. You share those different programs at different levels, and that kind of transitions to our closing question. If you don't mind, disclosing your fiduciary responsibility, and how do you make your money, and what is some of the fees that someone's expected to pay?
You sure you're not a financial advisor? You asking me about these licenses, and then you use the word fiduciary responsibility. Okay.
Right. Well, I've been doing my homework. I've been following this a little bit,
Right.
I sell insurance at some point in the past.
Yeah.
But so what's your fiduciary responsibility to your client, and how do you make your money with your fees, and so people can know what they're getting into if they pursue your services?
Yeah. Well, I'll lay it out like this. I kind of explained it earlier, but that is the transition that I made from going from a registered rep to a registered investment advisor. And so, as a registered investment advisor, I let my 7 go, right?
Mhm.
Because your 7 you place when you work with another company, when you work with another financial company. But as an independent advisor, I am under my 66, means it's under the Investment Advisor Act. It says that you, as the investment advisor, you have a responsibility to work on behalf of the client, and every decision and recommendation is in the client's best interest. And so, because if it is in the client's best interest and not in my personal best interest, many of the products that that I would recommend and go out and find, all of the products are non-commission, right? Non-commissionable products, which means that company doesn't pay me a commission to sell that product. It's a non-commissionable product. And so the way that we make money is we charge a percentage of the fees that we manage, percentage of the portfolio with fees that we manage inside of a client's account. And so fees are fee-based, means that there is a percentage that's calculated based on the annual balance of the account. And the way that I charge my fee, pretty industry standard. It goes from a range of 1.5%. to 1%, depending on the size of the portfolio. And so that's pretty typical in the industry, and it works. The reason it works is because it puts us on the same side of the table as our client, where we're in it together. We're going out to see what best fits, and because it's a fee based on the size of the account, if the account goes down, then we feel it, and so we have an incentive to make sure that the portfolio is on the upward trend.
All right. So it sounds like you charge fees based upon the product in the account, and if they don't make money, you don't make money. That's what it sounds
Based
like.
on the value, yeah. Based
And
on
you base that on your analysis of whatever their needs are and whatever they are trying, what their goals are. Do you have flat fees for like helping people put together a budget or estate planning, open up an account, or is it all in your? Okay.
Yeah, that is the My Advisor program that I just mentioned. And so we have a 3-tier My Advisor program for one is for cash flow management. The first level, the second level is because we're building a foundation here. The second level is investment. So if you're just getting started, you can open up an investment account with very little dollars to start. I won't call out a figure here because it depends on what we're going to purchase, but you can open up an account with, a couple $100 just to get started with investing. And then I also have the third level, which is our planning. So if there's a goal that you want to plan for, such as purchasing a home, we can give you a financial plan with all the other services that I mentioned included.
Okay, great. So, as we close out, I'm speaking on behalf of our audience.
Yes.
I get my tax return back. I got $1,000 and I want to work with you. How much money I got to get started? Do I need to start with you $500, $1,000? What if I got $200 in my name just to get started? Am I able to work with you, or what do I need to come out of pocket just to get your expert in 20 plus years? That you got that start that long-term relationship.
Yeah, you got to have something to work with.
What's that something? Well, you could probably
gotta have something to work with. So I understand that. I understand the nature of your question, and so the subscription program that I just talked about means that there is a monthly fee, right?
Okay.
There's a monthly fee that you're going to pay in order to have that service, and then the and those programs start at like $50 a month.
Oh, that ain't bad. Okay.
Yeah. And then when you're doing the investment program, you want to, if we're purchasing a mutual fund or an ETF or a stock or something in the account, the cost of that investment is going to determine how much you have to put into your account, because you can't purchase anything if you put in $50. We can't buy the stock if it costs $68 a share. Right. And so we basically want to start with something that we can invest and give you some experience on how the market is moving and how your investments respond to that. And just want to help you get educated on what it means to build an investment account for a certain goal, be it a savings or for retirement, whatever it may be. The whole purpose is to give you this opportunity to work with an advisor. That's why it's called My Advisor. So you can say, this is my advisor. Erica Hall is my advisor.
Last question. This is for me. Do you manage index funds?
I do. That's one of the best.
IRA account with you, and I want to do something long term with index funds. You can do that.
Yeah, index funds are one of the fastest growing types of securities because they give you the diversification of a mutual fund and they trade like stock.
Yes, that's what I want to get into that. That's my next goal.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, episode 129. We want to thank our guests.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Make sure, I just want to put that up here. If you are looking to, even if you want to know about getting into the business of advising, definitely reach out to her. She'll tell you how to get started in that. I'm not sure if you're taking on any employees with your company. But also, if you wanted to begin to get on that track of financial freedom, work with our wealth advisor, Erica Hall. Contact her, 248-440-7774, or go to the website, www.ehwealthadvisors.com. Go to the website, get going. Let's get to financial freedom. Let's bridge the wealth gap, support our folks in Detroit doing great things with helping people. I'm definitely going to be following up. We're going to have her on the show more often as a show contributor to talk about various things. I'm pretty sure you guys are going to have questions. So we're going to do that. So thank you again.
Yeah, trying to get it all in. I was trying to get it all in. And
yeah, we got it. We got a lot in. We're going to do some more of these episodes. I appreciate your time and what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, our show is about celebrating the contributions of people from Detroit and what they're doing. You definitely are doing great contributions. Kingdom Mindset, helping people to get their finances in order. And I just wish you continued success.
Thank you.
Any closing words as we close it out?
Yeah. Look, thank you so much. Congratulations on the show. I'm taking notes too, because I want a podcast, and I've been practicing, and you've been sharing some great tips with me. I just want to let your audience know that Wealth Advisors is it's our corporate arm where we do the financial planning, we do the investment. Kingdom Money Mindset is my my campaign this year about it's my webinar about teaching financial literacy. I love teaching. I love giving stuff back to the community as a preacher and as a just someone who grew up right here in Detroit. So this year, for my birthday, we are going to be giving away a scholarship.
Oh.
We're going to be giving away a scholarship. And so my scholarship is going to be focused on my path, my hood that I grew up in, my education that I have received in Detroit, at Cass, at Wayne State. I even went to Alabama State University. So if I know someone there, my church, all the things that are defining in my life, my church family, as well as my clients, and my extended family. So if there's anyone who is in any of those entities that I named, they can apply, or their children can apply for a scholarship. And for my birthday, I'm going to be raising money, and my corporation will match the dollars. Whatever we raise at the event, my corporation is going to match the dollars, and we're going to give away a scholarship. We're going to give away 2 scholarships at the first half of the year and 2 scholarships at the end of the year. So by the end of 2025, we'll have given away 4 scholarships to some wonderful, wonderful recipients, those people who are pursuing higher education. And it doesn't have to be an accredited college or university. If you're going to barber school, if you're going to whatever you're doing to improve your life, we want to support you. And so that's what I just thank you for allowing me to announce that.
Absolutely.
So you have to follow. We're still developing how you're going to apply. So you have to follow us for more information. But yeah, we're giving away a scholarship.
All right. Great. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, that's Erica Hall, Wealth Advisor with Wealth Advisors. Thank you for joining us on this episode. That concludes our podcast, and we'll see you next week. Got some great stuff coming up. Please like and subscribe if you find value in what we're doing. And man, we got some great content coming up. Can't wait for the guests in December, rest of November, and what we got planned for 2025. All right. Have a good night. See you guys next Monday.
Hey everyone, this is Charlie the Plug, your host of the Detroit Metro Plug podcast, powered by Empower You Ventures. Don't forget to subscribe so you too can be a part of the biggest empowerment network on YouTube and Facebook. We bring you weekly interviews,
of Detroit difference makers in the area of entrepreneurship, community involvement, also reaction to business news and community news. This does not happen without your support. Thank you.